So I made a video recently talking about my favorite Nintendo Switch game, and my favorite Nintendo Switch game as of right now is still Breath of the Wild. I love everything about that game, and honestly that might be my favorite game of all time, not just my favorite Nintendo Switch game. It might even be my favorite Nintendo game as well. It's definitely one of the biggest Nintendo games they ever made. Is it the best Nintendo game Nintendo ever created? That's arguably questionable, and that's an argument to be made, whether it's their best made game ever, or is there something else that Nintendo made that's definitely better. Of course, a lot of people go off nostalgia, the time period, and things like that. So you have to take in a lot of things when you're talking about the best Nintendo game. But besides that, I also realized one of my favorite genres in video games still has to be open world games. I love open world games. I love the fact that open world games has so much value and so much content. You can go on side quests, you can play the main story, you can pretty much do whatever you want, and on top of that there's a lot of loot to collect. I just love games that have a lot of loot in the games. Those are definitely games for me. I just love these games that take hundreds and hundreds of hours to beat, and I was sitting there thinking to myself, yes, I talk about Breath of the Wild a lot. I talk about how this might be my favorite game of all time, might be the best game of all time, but then I realized one thing. There is one game I have yet to play which I definitely want to play as of right now, and here's the game I'm actually talking about. I'm actually talking about this right here, Horizon Zero Dawn. I know a lot of people were comparing this game when Breath of the Wild came out because they were talking about how this game and that game were very similar and they came out around the same time, and these are both very good games. They're definitely 9 out of 10 games, 10 out of 10 games. A lot of people love these games, and this is one game I have yet to play, and I actually wanted to check this game out because, well, if I'm going to sit here and say that Breath of the Wild is my favorite game and I'm not even playing games like Horizon Zero Dawn, what am I doing to myself? I'm pretty much slapping myself in the face by not playing this, and then I can pretty much make a real assessment. Is Breath of the Wild really my favorite game of all time? I have still yet to play Red Dead Redemption 2. The only reason I didn't go for Red Dead Redemption 2, which I was thinking about getting over this game, but the only reason I did not get Red Dead Redemption 2 over Horizon is because Red Dead Redemption 2 is still quite costly, and I've already been buying a lot of games, so I was sitting here thinking to myself, do I want to really spend the money for Red Dead Redemption 2? Although I know it would be worth the money, but I already have a lot to play, and this game is dirt cheap, and it is a PS4 exclusive, so not everybody has played this game if you don't own a PS4, so I'm like, what's the choice? Red Dead Redemption 2 or Horizon Zero Dawn? So I was like, yeah, the choice is easy. First of all, this is an exclusive, and on top of that, it is one of the best PS4 exclusives. Not only is it a good exclusive for the PS4, it is dirt cheap. You can get this right now close to $20. I actually got this copy right here for only $15, and here's the actual crazy part for this. This game was actually brand new. I found a brand new copy for $15, whether you believe it or not, and the crazy part about this is I've already opened it, and this also does come with the complete DLC, and that's something I do love. I love the fact that a lot of these Game of the Year editions, or a lot of these games, come with the DLC included, and this comes with the DLC included, of course. I'm not going to flip this over to the back so you can see the code for the DLC, but here is the DLC. To redeem your code, yada yada yada. It looks like this also comes with the digital art book and a PS4 theme for your PS4, but yeah, I'm just very curious to play this game, since I know also a lot of people skip this game because, like again, I said that this game came around the time that Breath of the Wild came out, and since this game came out around the time Breath of the Wild came out, a lot of people probably overlooked this game because it seemed like a lot of people were talking about Zelda, and to be honest, this is a new IP for Sony, so of course a lot of people would overlook this. Zelda has definitely been a franchise for like 20 plus years, so of course more people are going to gravitate to Zelda, and on top of that, one thing that made Zelda much more talked about and much more like everyone was praising it and whatnot was the fact that too a new system from Nintendo was out. So the hype with the Nintendo Switch just coming out, with Breath of the Wild coming out, of course this game's going to be overshadowed with all those things taking place around the time that this game came out. I also wonder why the developer Guerrilla Games actually decided to release this around the time the Switch came out and Breath of the Wild came out. That's pretty much like big mistake on their part. Why would they do this? Of course, if I was a developer, I would try to check my calendar and make sure nothing is going around at the time I release my game, so it's not going to be overshadowed by other projects and other games. It's kind of like a no-brainer. It's just very questionable to me. Now, the guys behind this game, Guerrilla Games, are the same developer, I do believe, who made the Killzone series, so they do have an established franchise on the PS4, and it is exclusive to the PS4. Killzone, I don't know if they're still working on Killzone. I think Killzone may be already done because they did make so many Killzone. I know there was a new Killzone at the release of the PS4 launch. They did release a new Killzone, and they've had so many Killzones, and I must admit, I did play Killzone back in the day, and Killzone is an actual good franchise. So this is one of their biggest ambitious projects when it comes to Guerrilla Games, the Horizon Zero Dawn. Actually, when it comes to Horizon Zero Dawn, I know it's really questionable whether you like this game or not like this game. I know a lot of people in my personal life that played this game and then got bored of it for one case or another. Maybe it's because they already played Zelda Breath of the Wild, so they were drained out with these open world games, because you can only play so many open world games before you've had enough with these. I don't blame people for not wanting to play this after like playing Breath of the Wild. They played too many open world games, the formula got stale, and things like this. One thing that also really draws me to Horizon Zero Dawn is the fact that this is one of those few games that actually has a girl protagonist for the main character, and I think that's absolutely brilliant. I think we need more girl protagonists in video games, because a lot of course, the protagonists in video games, you look at Breath of the Wild, for instance, of course, it's Link. You look at all these different characters like Assassin's Creed, it's a guy and things like that. So, of course, it's nice and refreshing to have a studio make a brand new IP like Horizon Zero Dawn and come out with a girl as a protagonist. I actually heard that the story in this game is absolutely brilliant, which is something Breath of the Wild did actually lack. The reason I keep comparing this so much to Breath of the Wild is because, well, they came out around the same time, and that's the last big open world game I actually played, and that is a fair assessment to compare this to Breath of the Wild. Yes, a lot of people are going to tell me, why are you comparing it to Breath of the Wild when this game and Breath of the Wild have may have a lot of differences, and they may not even be comparable, but it's nice to compare a game to something. And like I said, a lot of people on forums were also, around the time these both came out, were comparing these two. Do you like playing Horizon? Do you like playing Breath of the Wild? Which one's got the better open world, the better story, the better gameplay, the better mechanics, yada yada yada. So it is a fair assessment, and by me playing this game, I can actually tell you, am I going to like this game better, or am I going to like Breath of the Wild better? I'm not going to say that I'm going to like Breath of the Wild better, because I've yet to start my journey with this game. It's going to take me a very long time to complete this game. Now, when it comes to me actually playing this game, I think the way I'm actually going to go about doing this is I'm actually going to try to do as much of the main story as possible and skip all the side quests and skip all the extra stuff in the game. The main reason being is I realize when it comes to these big open world games, kind of like this, Breath of the Wild, Red Dead Redemption, Borderlands, whatever the case may be, I end up doing a lot of the side quests, and I never actually get around to finishing the game. And I don't want this to be a game where I just end up not finishing it for like a year. I really want to do my assessment and come back with an actual video on my channel talking about this versus Breath of the Wild, which one do I really like more, and talk about all the main little differences, talk about everything I can compare and contrast with these games. So I'm going to not do too much in this game. So if I come back in, like, let's say a month or two and talk about stuff that's I forgot to talk about, that's probably because I only did the main quest in this game, and I tried to do as little as possible. Of course, I'll go revisit it, because that's what I like doing with these type of games. I like trying to do as much as possible. I like doing all the side quests, trying to complete these games 100%. So that's pretty much what I'm going to do with this game. One cool thing about this game is it's actually PS4 Pro enhanced, so that means you'll be getting 4K or upscaled 4K or 1440p resolutions if you're on the PS4 Pro. Unfortunately, I don't have a PS4 Pro to test that out. I do have a 4K TV, but no PS4 Pro to test that feature out, unfortunately. But this game should still be really well and playable in 1080p, and it's really refreshing too that finally On another topic, Sony finally released an app on iOS that actually allows you to play your game streamed to your mobile device. Of course, if you own like a PS Vita, I know you can do that as well. So you can play this game not really on the go, but you can play it away from the TV. I think they also have an app on like PCs and Macs. You can play your games off the TV as well. So that's very cool. But it is nice they did that. Just wanted to talk about that really quickly. But yeah, that's pretty much all I got to talk about when it comes to Horizon Zero Dawn. I'm finally going to be playing Horizon Zero Dawn for the first time, and I'm quite excited. I'm actually quite puzzled as well as to why Horizon Zero Dawn, if it's getting so many remarks. You can see from the box it has 10s out of 10s, 9s out of 10s, 4.5 out of 5. Why is this game going for so cheap when this game apparently is so good? Why is this game only like $15 to $20? Why is this game so cheap when you look at like an IP, Breath of the Wild? Breath of the Wild is still very expensive. It's going well over $50. I guess, again, Nintendo games always hold their value, but you would think for a first-party Sony exclusive IP, you would still think this game was going for like $30 or $40, but I'm very surprised this game is very dirt cheap. But yeah, I'm going to stop rambling on now. I think I rambled on long enough talking about Horizon Zero Dawn. I think later on I'm going to go ahead and start my experience with Horizon Zero Dawn and try to get this game done as soon as possible so I can make my assessments with this game compared to Breath of the Wild, because that's really what I want to do as well. Anyway, guys, this is Wayne from My Tech News, signing out.